former Prime Minister Patrick Manning is denying that he's in possession of a $1 million Bösendorf piano. Mr. Manning was responding to accusations made by the Attorney General in the Parliament yesterday that the state is unable to locate the expensive instrument since his departure from the diplomatic center. Mr. Manning said investigators should look at a recently constructed house in South Trinidad for answers on the missing piano.
On the heels of allegations that former Prime Minister Patrick Manning may have departed the official residence with a Bösendorfer piano, comes a swift denial from the former PM himself. At an impromptu media conference this morning, Mr. Manning told the media that when he left the diplomatic center, the $1 million grand piano was still on the compound. In fact, he stated that the piano was stored on the eastern side of the center's outdoor stage.
The next thing that you might hear is that the police have been given a search warrant to search my house looking for a grand piano. Well, let me make it clear from now, there is no grand piano at my residence. I left the grand piano at the diplomatic center where it properly belongs.
He instead pointed fingers at the new occupant of the diplomatic center, Prime Minister Kamla Bisesa. Mr. Manning claims that when the new PM moved in, a lot of adjustments were made to the center and the residents.
When the new Prime Minister came in, when her team came in, even before she came into the residence, a lot of equipment was moved out of that residence, including furniture. And I have no idea where that furniture was sent. I rather suspect that if you go to a house in Lower Philippine, you might find some of it, because I am not one of those who has developed a reputation for improperly moving from government offices with government equipment and furniture.
Mr. Manning recalled while he was in office, the diplomatic center was outfitted with a state-of-the-art security system and that the entire premises were monitored by security cameras from one central location. He insisted it would be impossible to remove the piano under such rigid security systems.
I understand that they felt, one, that they had no need for such monitoring by those who were doing it, and secondly, that they had no need for the cameras. I understand that those things, much of that has been moved out. And the system, as we left it at the residence, no longer exists. It appears to me, ladies and gentlemen, that the question that the Attorney General put to the member for San Fernando yesterday would have been more appropriately put to the member for Siparia.
The former Prime Minister also lashed out at the AG's criticism of his taste in music. In the Parliament yesterday, AG Anand Ramlogan questioned the necessity of the grand pianos purchased by the state, saying it could not play a chutney or calypso song.
The Attorney General's view of culture is a very restricted view. Our view is much wider than that. And it includes instruments which, in addition to those that he mentioned, also includes a wider range of instruments, including the grand piano.
Mr. Manning says the diplomatic center is expected to reflect not just the cultures of Trinidad and Tobago, but also international customs. Ria Rambali, IE News.
Meanwhile, San Fernando East MP, former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, says he suspects that plans are afoot to have him suspended from the Parliament over the next 3 months. Mr. Manning was responding to the Speaker's decision yesterday to disallow a motion raised by Point Fortin MP Paula Gopi-Schoon against the Prime Minister. Stating that he would not object to the ruling of the House Speaker, Manning told the media that he suspects that a political situation is brewing.
I have a matter before the Privileges Committee right now, and it has come to my attention that the government's intention is to suspend me from the Parliament for 3 months. That's the intention of the government. And they know very well that if this matter came before the Parliament, that the member for Siparia would have been in considerable trouble. The case against the member for Siparia is far more serious and far greater than any case that has been brought against the member for San Fernando East.
Mr. Manning was responding to a number of concerns raised by the AG in Parliament yesterday. Asked to comment on the alleged housing of his spiritual advisor, Juliana Pena, at a lavish UTT home at the cost of taxpayers, Mr. Manning says those questions should be directed at Ms. Pena herself.
The government is giving the impression that they cannot find Reverend Pena. That's the impression that they are giving. I cannot imagine that you have the police service with about 7,000 people in it. You have special anti-crime unit, you have the SIA, you have the special branch, you have all kinds of security capabilities in this country, and one person, a woman who incidentally I understand is not even hiding from them, cannot be found. No, if you believe that, then you might well believe in the midnight robber or in witches.
He instead trained his guns on the Attorney General, who in Parliament yesterday berated him for ordering a Bosendorf piano. He added that there are much more pressing issues that the government should focus on. He's calling on the former PM, Bastio Pandey, to come forward and tell the country the real reason why AG Ramlogan was removed from a state board many years ago.
I call on the former Prime Minister, the Prime Minister at the time, the Honorable Bastio Pandey, to clear the air on this matter and let the country know exactly what were the circumstances that led to the then Mr. Ramlogan terminating his appointment to the member of the Board of Petition being terminated. We would like to know. And the Attorney General, while he's at it, could also answer for us whether it is a fact that all cases so far against the state, or cases against the state, in which his firm of lawyers is involved in San Fernando, have not been contested by the state.
Mr. Manning also sought to clear up accusations by the AG that UTT hired underqualified staff. He noted that the highly paid tailor at the university is from this country and rated as one of the top 3 tailors in the world. He says the man was brought in to head UTT's Institute of Fashion.
In fact, it is as a result of the work of that institute, which he did at no cost to the University of Trinidad and Tobago, free. It is as a result of the work of that institute that the Prime Minister today could be walking up and down catwalks all over the country. But of course, she is not the best example to use. Had she been, then she would not have walked on Frederick Street looking like the midnight robber.